Welcome to part 3 of the High Proof Whiskey Wars. These are 8 of my favorite whiskeys that I have in my collection that are 125 proof or higher. So we got a banger in this one. We've got the Old Forester Blue Label. This is the pick that I did for Preet Liquor in New York. I did this with Woodford Bourbon Guy, Oak City Bourbon, North Coast Bourbon Mike, Bourbon Nomad, and Big Dog Smokers. Find them on social media. They're great follows, great people. And it's going up against a heavy hitter. We've got Stagg Batch 23B. This is 127 proof. The Old Forester is 131 proof. It is from Warehouse J, Floor 1. Here is the bracket so far. And I gotta say, for the first round, this is the matchup that I'm most excited for. To me, these are two heavy hitters. And I'm really excited to see how the Old Forester that I picked stacks up against the Stagg. I got both samples poured up in the solo blind. Let's give them a spin. I've got both of my samples poured up here. The one on my right will be sample 1. The one on my left will be sample number 2. Let's dive into it. Starting off with the first one. Oof. Great on the nose. These are both fantastic on the nose. Let me go into sample 1, give it a good nose, and score it. Super rich stone fruits, caramel, vanilla, very pleasant on the nose, but you get a blast of those stone fruits. So out of 10 for the aroma, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Going into number 2, score this. These are both incredible on the nose. Number 2, very rich caramel, a little bit of cherry, picking up almost like a banana note in there. There's some honey. I also got to give this a 9 out of 10. I felt like number 2 was a little more well balanced. It wasn't quite as strong on the aroma as number 1. Number 1 really hit you with those stone fruits. So let's take a sip of these and dive into the whiskey review. There is some heat on that. There's a lot of heat on that, actually. Cleanse my palate. Both of these bourbons are known for being very punchy, very ethanol forward, so this is an interesting battle. Let me take a sip of number 2. Number 2 isn't quite as punchy as the first one. Definitely more delicate. It's a little bit more tame, a little bit more approachable. I'm going to cleanse my palate, and I'm going to go back in for a second sip. All right, let's go into number 1. Now that my palate is acclimated, it's a little bit more approachable, not quite as punchy. But on the palate, those stone fruits carry over. There's some caramel. You got more sweetness that's layered in with the stone fruits compared to the nose. The nose was very stone fruit forward, but stone fruit, caramel, a little bit of honey. You are getting some oakiness. For the palate, I think I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. And for the finish, there's ethanol that really lingers through the finish that I don't care for. I wish the finish was a little more balanced and really brought out some of those sweet notes that you picked up on the initial sip. So with that being said, I'm going to give the finish a 7.5. Let me cleanse my palate, then we'll move on to number 2. Alright, I got number 2. That is way more approachable on the palate. Not getting punched with ethanol. I definitely enjoyed that more on that initial sip. There's a lot of caramel with honey layered in there. There's a very, very faint, banana bread type note. There's cherry. Little bit of oakiness. I think the palate is more approachable on this one. I think it's more well balanced. So with that being said, I'm going to have to give the palate a 9 out of 10 on this one. As it sits there and lingers through the finish, I'm getting a lot of honey notes, more banana nut bread. There's a lot of caramel. It's very sweet. I enjoy how the sweetness really lingers through the finish. And I gotta say, this is really, really enjoyable. The aromas on both of these were fantastic, but the palate and the finish for both of these, number 2 takes a cake on that one. So for the finish on number 2, I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. So number 2 beat number 1 with 27 points compared to 24.5. So let's see what our winner is. It goes without saying that the blue label that I picked, I might be biased. I don't think I am. The reviews are out there. If you go on TikTok, you can see the reviews on it, and man, the reviews on this thing stack up. So the Old Forester blue label that I picked beats the Stagg. Might be a controversial take, but we did this in a blind. I will say that I was pretty confident which one was which based on the aroma, the sips. It was just pretty obvious to me. I picked the blue label. I've had a lot of it. I'm familiar with it. So I was pretty confident which one was which, but you never know. The blue label that I picked beat Stagg in a blind head-to-head. It'll move on to the second round. It will face off against the winner between Knob Creek Cast Strength and Booker's. I believe it's batch 2024-03. Could be wrong off the top of my head, but I believe it's 2024-03. It's the one that's 130 plus proof. Hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with the rest of the series. Follow my page, support me in the content that I'm putting out. I would appreciate it if you leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the results, leave me some predictions for the next round, and leave me some predictions overall for the tournament. Like this video, share it with some friends, help me get the word out there. I have a lot of really fun stuff that I have planned for this page and my community. So stay tuned for part 4, the Knob Creek Cast Strength going up against Booker's. We got a Jim Beam showdown. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Have a great day, y'all. Cheers.